very much. I think we can begin our press conference. So welcome to the media and the people of South Africa, branches and members of the EFF across the country. My name is Sinao Tambo. I'm the spokesperson of the EFF, and this is the State of Readiness briefing ahead of the Northwest Provincial People's Assembly. So I'll begin by introducing the leadership that is with us here today. And I'll start with the Deputy Provincial Chairperson, who's on my furthest left, Comrade Muthusi Muntwedi. Immediately next to him is the Provincial Chairperson, Comrade Shakes Butswe. On my immediate left is the Provincial Secretary, Comrade Papiki Babuile. And with us as well, we have the former Deputy Secretary General and the current head of the Labour Desk of the EFF and the convener of CCT deployees to the province of the Northwest, who will deliver the third Provincial People's Assembly, Commissar Hlengwe Mkhaliphi, who will be reading the statement for us today. So we'll hand over to you, Commissar Hlengwe. You can read it from there. You don't have to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Somlomo. Greetings to the media and the leadership of the Northwest Province. The Economic Freedom Fighters will host the third Provincial People's Assembly of the Northwest Province between the 2nd to the 4th of September 2022 at the city of Matlosana Hall. The Provincial People's Assembly is a gathering of duly elected delegates from a minimum of 90% of branches in the province who will deliberate on the term of the outgoing leadership, conditions confronting the organization in the province, and the elections of new leadership. The conference of the EFF is known as People's Assembly because it is a conference of the people. It is a gathering of the ordinary masses of our people sent by their branches to ensure that grassroots struggles find expression in the organization and in resolutions. This gathering is convened as a means of renewal of the mandate of the provincial structure in the province, which has completed its 4-year term, as the last Provincial Assembly was convened in 2018. We commend the work and progress made thus far, which amongst other things has been the EFF retained its position as official opposition in the province of Northwest over 2 elections, namely the 2019 National General Elections and 2021 local government elections. The Assembly will reflect on this and the need for the removal of the ruling party from its position, and for the EFF to assume its rightful place as the government of the people in Northwest. To be an official position is not sufficient. The EFF must win elections in Northwest because there is effectively no other stable organization in the province. The people of the Northwest need water, need jobs, housing, roads, and adequate health care, and currently the highly factionalized ruling party is unable to provide these services and is regulated by corruption. The Assembly of EFF will respond to these realities and conclude on comprehensive plan to unseat the failing ANC government. The EFF Provincial Command Team in the Northwest held its final meeting yesterday on the 1st of September 2022 to finalize the state of readiness ahead of People's Assembly. The Northwest Provincial People's Assembly begins with the registration of an expected 853 delegates who come from branches and representative structures such as our regional command team of Bujanala region, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda region, Ngaka, and Dr. Ruth. These regional structures were all elected in 2021, have executed the task of ensuring we have a strong elections machinery ahead of local government elections last year, as well as preparing branches for the Provincial People's Assembly. Of the 853 expected delegates, 750 delegates come from branches, 83 come from the regional command teams, and 20 come from the outgoing provincial command team. The branch delegates to the Assembly come from 375 branches, which convened their branch people's assemblies or branch general assemblies to nominate and elect delegates to the PPA. This number is reflective of 90% of wards in the province having branches of the EFF. This is commendable. And regional structures are encouraged to continue with convening of branch people's assemblies and branch general assemblies to elect leadership where necessary and to adopt programs of actions which are responsive to the needs of our people. All disputes relating to the convening of branch people's assemblies to elect delegates have been processed by the Special National Disciplinary Committee and the Office of the Secretary General. There are currently no outstanding disputes, and we expect a smooth conference characterized by robust discussion and healthy consultation. Day one of the assembly will exclusively be arrival and registration of delegates from all regions of the Northwest, and this registration is happening at the separate venue. On day two will be constituted by both open and closed sessions for media, as the business of the day will include the opening and welcome, the keynote address by the official deployed to the Northwest EFF, which is National Chairperson Veronica Mentenkuna, adoption of credentials, the political reports by the chairperson, the organizational reports by the secretary, and the financial reports by the provincial treasurer, amongst other things. Nominations for the top 5 officials of the province will happen on day two, as well as nominations for additional members to constitute the 21-member provincial command team, which will lead the province over the next 4 years. Voting and announcement of results for the top 5 will happen on day two. The assembly will break into commissions on day two to discuss various issues, which include primarily organizational character and redesign to consolidate the ground towards social power. Within this discussion document will be a reflection on the character of the EFF, the nature of EFF structure, and what should define them, organizational processes, the political conditions confronting the country and the continent, as well as specific constitutional amendment provisions. Conference will discuss the various manifestations of the EFF, which includes the organizational manifestation, the ideological and political manifestation, the activist, campaign, and mass movement manifestation, the governance manifestation, the Pan-Africanist and Internationalist manifestation, as well as the EFF Student Command manifestation. All of these discussions will always reflect from the founding manifesto of the EFF and the 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars, which are the primary guide to the attainment of economic emancipation in our lifetime. On day 3, the Assembly Plenary will receive reports of discussions in commissions and the announcement of the result of the top 5. The newly elected leadership will conclude the conference and assume the mandate of consolidating the ground towards social power. The Commander-in-Chief and President will give the closing address on day 3, September 4 of 2022 to the Provincial People's Assembly and provide guidance and a line of march to the delegates and the newly elected leadership. All delegates are encouraged to adhere to the rules and procedures of the Assembly and remain highly disciplined throughout this process. The EFF must emerge united and ready to seize power in the Northwest in 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the convener of CCT deployees. Perhaps the provincial secretary can take us through on the progress of registration so far in terms of regions which have arrived and that process. Thank you very much, Komsaba Biki.
Thank you very much, Commissar Snau. So far, we have a total of 295 delegates registered. They are from different regions because they are using different transports out of the 853. We hope that by at least 4 o'clock, registration will be closed because so far they have give us an update that they are nearer the venue of registration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think at this stage, if there are any questions from members of the media, we'll take them and the table will respond in assisting the convener to respond to anything that may pertain to internal process in the province. Any questions? I see the hand, the CBC. Sure, number 2. Okay, I think I'll start with the Deputy Provincial Chairperson, then to the Chairperson, the Secretary, then the Convener to close.
Thank you very much, Commissar, and a very good day to everybody. For us, as the EFF, it's not about individuals. For us, we believe that amongst the ranks of the EFF, we've got capable men and women of great stature in their community, within the membership of the EFF, who would be able to make sure that when we go to an election, they run a very clean campaign of the EFF to make sure that the EFF win votes. So we believe that whoever who emerges out of this conference should and will be able to make sure that they gather necessary support. And the other thing that must be understood is that unlike in other political parties, we accept if we went to conference, you contested and you did not lose, you did not win. Because we must not amount contestation to fighting. We're not fighting. We're only expressing our democratic right to contest for various positions. But after that, we will definitely rally behind the elected leadership and make sure that we assist in making sure that the EFF comes out victorious in the coming election. So it's neither here nor there on who would actually emerge. We have confidence on the general membership of the organization that all those that will emerge will emerge united. You will never see anyone, campaigning against the EFF after this. We knew when we were elected that there's going to come a time where we must go to another election. And it's not we're not here by surprise. We knew in terms of the EFF constitution that this time will come. The time has came. All that we need to do is to work together and make sure that we deliver a very credible conference for the EFF. So we're sure that whoever that emerges, Commissar, will be right enough to make sure that the EFF wins elections. We're not going to go back with that. I think the other issues, Commissar, will speak to them there. Thanks very much.
Provincial Chair.
Thank you very much, Commissar. We have cream de la creams of leaders in the EFF. And as the EFF in the Northwest Province, we are doing quite well. So we are not threatened by any political party. We are going to come out victoriously in 2024 as the EFF in the Northwest Province. Thank you very much.
Secretary.
No, I think since 2014, new political parties have been formed in this province. And throughout the elections, we have never seen any drop of the EFF in the entire province. Instead, we are increasing in terms of our performances. So we're not threatened by a person who has been an ANC member for a very long time. And all of a sudden now there's a new party. Remember, these new parties are actually formed to destabilize the current status quo and to destabilize the EFF, not actually to vote the ANC out of power. So Action SA, PA and them, they are not a threat to the EFF. We'll continue to grow and make sure that in 2024, the EFF wins the elections. So we are going to govern in 2024. Thank you.
Commissar.
On the disputes, the disputes have been dealt with procedurally so within the EFF. So there are no new disputes as we are alluding on the statement. But to elaborate on the issue of disputes, the guidelines are very clear of the EFF and all delegates are privy to those guidelines because when the Central Command team have adopted the guidelines, we then come as a province and table those guidelines in the PCT. And we took it to regional RCT members. We took them to branches to explain to members how the guidelines supposed to be carried out. So those three members, or the second thing is that the office of the SG, the Secretary General, after the branch is launched, So the packages, they do the audit of the branches, and they also call the members who are on the papers to say they attended the BPA. So if the members are saying that, no, I was not in that BPA, so it means there was a signature campaign. Then the Office of the SG took a decision to say, let me just suspend these people on the basis that they were embarking on the signature campaign. So as a result, 3 members, 2 from Bujanala and 1 from Dr. KK, were suspended after the special NTC sat and dealt with those people who were embarking on the signature campaign. So after that, there is no other dispute that they've been processed to us. And then on the SG's office, we are quite confident that this conference is not going to have any disputes, because we are not going to allow any dispute anyway, because that process has been dealt with.
Okay, thank you very much. If we are fine, let us allow the leadership of the province with the deployee to proceed with the registration process of all delegates from all over the 4 regions. Thank you very much for joining us. There will be continuous briefings even at the end of the day on update on registration, and the conference will effectively begin from tomorrow until Sunday, when the Commander-in-Chief will give the closing address. The National Chairperson of the EFF, of course, will give the keynote address tomorrow. So we will keep members of the public up to date about the progress of this conference. Thank you very much.